These are the new Essence products for Spring/Summer 2026. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I have a full face makeup look inserting all of the swatches and close-ups of the new Essence Spring/Summer 2026 collection. I have pretty much an entire full face here. I just don't have any brow products, but everything else we have. So let's get chatting. And before we get chatting about what's on offer, I want to immediately put this product on my face. This is the Glow Like Honey Serum Spray. And I didn't see this very well when it was on the website. I thought this was going to be like a setting spray. But when I gave it a quick spray for the swatches I do for these videos, I noticed that this is very, very oily. So I'm not going to put this on afterwards. It also says here that it's something you can wear as a refresher throughout the day or at the start of your makeup as like a skincare step. So that's what I'm gonna do. They seem to have an entire Glow Like Honey line right now. The spray is okay. It's a little uneven, but it's not too aggressive, so I like that. But I really don't like the scent. Yes, it smells like honey. If you like honey fragrances, then you may really enjoy it. To me, it's a little overly sweet, and I don't really see the point in this, so this is a bit of a boo-boo that I made, so I just wanted to get it out of the way straight away so I can tell you a little bit more about the rest of the collection. With Essence and Catrice, what we're seeing a lot is that they have been duping either K-beauty or other more expensive brands, and that definitely seems to be the case with Essence again. They already did a Jelly Grip primer before, and this is now in an extreme version. But they've also done a couple of things where I'm like, okay, they seem to be duping Hourglass in their face palettes. This is very sort of Hourglass palette coded to me. It very much reminds me of those products. In the lip products, we have some K-beauty things. And also in these blushes, I'm thinking that they are trying to do something inspired by other brands. This soft baked blush has already been all over social media. A lot of people seem to be loving this. So I do have two. They're very similar shades. I'm just going to put one on each cheek just to try it out for the video. So yeah, there's lots of new stuff from Essence. Like I said, pretty much a full face of makeup. Save for brows, I have new foundation, concealer, primer, powder, cheeks, eyes, mascara, lip products. Everything is here, so I'm going to talk you through and insert all of the close-ups and pictures of swatches I already took, and I'm going to be applying everything to my face for the first time. It is around 11 right now, so I'm going to see if I can do a wear test throughout the day to showcase how these products will last. That's pretty much what I've got going on for you today, so let's just get chatting about these products. So we're kicking things off with the Jelly Grip Extreme Hydrating Primer, and I'm very curious to see, is this any different to the original Jelly Grip Primer? That is a dupe for the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, and this is just the Essence version, and I like the Essence version better than I do the Milk Makeup one. So just so you know, this is just a darker green. That's so far the only sort of difference that I can really notice. But of course, in practice, we're gonna have to see how it goes. I just last January used up one of the primers that was in the fall-winter collection. It was the Bouncy primer, and that felt the same as the Jelly Grip primer. I don't feel that any of these things really do anything differently. What I am noticing is that there is a little bit more of a noticeable color with this. You need to work a little bit harder for that to disappear. But yeah, so far it feels identical. So I don't think there was a need for something new, but if they put extreme on it, they're gonna target a slightly different audience, of course, and it doesn't really seem to be all that different. So I'm gonna see how this feels in a sec, and I hope this means that they didn't discontinue the original Jelly Grip primer, because that would be a bit of a shame. But yeah, so far it feels identical to the original. Now the reason why I had to wait a little while before I could order all of these products, because I did already see them on the Boozy Shop website, was the fact that they didn't have any of the lighter complexion shades in stock yet. They had a lot of the dark things for deeper skin tones, but they didn't have anything in the lighter categories that I would need. And I actually think, now that I've swatched these, that these are actually too light. In fact, as I was placing my order, I had shade 50 of the foundation in my shopping cart, but as I was like selecting what other products I wanted to have, it went out of stock. So I went one shade down, which is shade 20, so I think this is going to be too light for me. And 070 is what I got in the concealer. This is the Silky Blur Hydrating Longwear Foundation, and that's also what the concealer is called. So they match, and it also comes with a matching powder. This is the Silky Blur Translucent Setting Powder. So we'll see how that goes. The entire idea of this line is satin matte, which is not my vibe as well. This is a little bit more of a higher coverage level, I could already tell from the swatch, than what I tend to prefer with my skin. Very often, if things are too full coverage for me and they are too mattifying, I end up with lots of dryness showing up. I have quite a bit of dry patches around my nose, so it's a good test for this primer to see if it does anything else. And I did do my skincare this morning as well to hope combat that. But very often with Essence, if it says satin matte, those never end up being my favorite foundations. So this is just for the video to see how it goes. But my first impression is it's probably too light, and it's probably not the right formula for my dry skin. And I definitely think with Essence that this is the shade of the foundation, by the way. With Essence, they seem to do more mattifying products in the summertime, which I think makes sense. Ooh, that's very light. Like, that's what I was saying. This is probably too light, also because it has this medium to buildable coverage. Oh, this is only like, I just touch my finger in there. Oh, I think I'm gonna have to take half of this off. This is way too much coverage. Oh, I don't like that. And it's this is too pale. Like, you can tell, my skin is not this light. So I'm going to try and apply even less to this side of my face to see if that helps. But yeah, it's just more coverage than what I need. That's another thing. And it feels sticky. Like, I don't like this texture at all. This feels very mask-like. This is not a good look. Now, I don't know what to do because they did come out with a brush. This is their Kabuki brush, and it's travel friendly. That's what they say on the packaging. So it comes with the cap, so you can like retouch your face in public. Since I don't know what this brush will do, and I know it's going to take a very dense brush to blend this out, I'm just going to take my regular foundation brush. This is the Multitasker from Sigma. This is the F47. So we can really spread this around. Oh, it's so light. Like, it's rare for me to find a foundation in the Essence range that is too light, so that's a positive, actually. It's like, it's so thick, I can barely blend it. Maybe this is best used with a beauty blender. Like, they take coverage away as well, and maybe the wetness of a beauty blender can make it, like, a bit more sheared out. Despite it having turned me into a ghost, if you blend it out, it definitely has more of like a medium coverage to it. It does have that. It does have a little bit of shine. It's not too matte, which is what I was worried about. I thought this was going to be very matte, but it still has a little bit of glow, which makes it look a little less offensive. And now that it's completely on, you can see it's just a touch too light if we compare it to my neck. Which means we're going in with the concealer. I don't, like, this is the thing. When I wear things this high coverage, I'm not as inclined to put as much concealer on. I think I'm just going to put concealer on my under eye area because that's where I don't put a lot of foundation. But the rest of my face doesn't need it because it would just add too much heaviness. And this is also a very thick formula. I'm blending it with the Real Techniques setting brush. That's my favorite brush for blending out concealer. But like just this little bit already goes a long way. And that looks terrible. I'm going to use my fingers a little bit to go where I've applied the concealer to help like make it look a bit more smooth and skin-like and not like streaky. Like very often if there's no powder yet, yeah, like your fingers can usually, like it just, I don't love the way this feels. It feels very heavy and it sits on top of my skin. Both the foundation and the concealer, and the stickiness, like it's very sticky. You need powder with this just to make it feel okay. I mean, now that it's all blended, I don't feel it's too offensive, but I'm glad we've got some other like face products to put on in a sec because this is not a good look. What do I want to do first? I think I want to do something else first than powder because they've also come out with these face and body glow bombs in a bronzy shade and a highlighter shade. And I'm like, now that my face is still a little bit sticky, I think I'm better off putting these like creamy products on first and then powder my face and then do the rest of the powder products. I think that's better. So we have the Balm of Sunshine Face and Body Glow Balm. And this product confuses me to no end. It just says, for a sun-kissed glass-like glow. And it looks like this in the jar. And then you stick your finger in and it's just, it feels pretty solid actually. But then, where's the product? Like, there's a little bit there, but like when I was trying to swatch, especially this bronzer shade, it just didn't do anything. It also looks a little green once activated. So I'm gonna see how this goes in the areas where I would apply bronzer to my face. But it does say face and body, so maybe this is meant to be like a mix-in with your moisturizer. I'm definitely, like, I'm thinking it's one of those products where they've intended it to sort of go all over your body if you want to, like, do a bit of a fake tan kind of thing, but make it makeup. But how do you get a brush in here that's big enough for you to apply it to your body? That's the thing that I'm confused with as well. So this is probably, again, not going to be my favorite product. It does do something. It adds a little bit of warmth. Like I've got a little bit more color to my face now that this foundation is way too light. Maybe I should apply more and sort of go all over just to take some of that like ghostliness away, because this is just a touch too pale, right? So I'm just gonna, because I haven't powdered yet, I feel okay putting it all over. It does it take away the foundation? It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It just adds a little bit of glow and shine in certain areas. So I'm also going to put a little bit of it on my forehead. This is not something I would normally do, but just to make me look a little less icy. And this doesn't smell pleasant at all. Or maybe it's still the honey thing that I'm still smelling. I can still smell this very sort of weird sweet scent that I'm not a huge fan of. And then it also comes with a highlighter. So this is the Obsession de la Lune. And this looks like a pinky, like a warm pink sort of highlighter type of thing. So I'm going to put that on the high points of my cheeks. And I think around the bridge of my nose. It doesn't add any color whatsoever. It just looks like oil on my finger. And that's also how they feel. They feel pretty oily. So I'm confused because this texture, if you were to blend it in with your moisturizer, it could actually like mess with the texture of your moisturizer, I think. But for like a base layer underneath the powders that we will be using, I think it's going to be okay. So a little bit on the tip of my nose. And I think I'm going to leave the highlighter there. I just feel this doesn't make a lot of difference. And it's so much effort. And the jars are bigger than most bronzers, I feel. But like they're very heavy. They're glass. So there's like someone's paid attention to this. But It just, how are you going to apply this all over your body? I mean, this is the size of a regular Essence blush. So the jar is like the same size. Like this jar would have to be so much bigger if you wanted to go in there with like a buffing brush to put it all over your skin to make you look more glowy in the sun. I definitely think that this is intended to be used by that as like that, but not really something I'm into. But yeah, it says also that it could go onto the face, but I feel it really didn't do much in terms of adding color or anything like that. So now we're moving on to the powder, the Silky Blur translucent powder. It's just a loose powder. And again, I already did swatch this and yeah, let's just say I wasn't a fan. I already did a video a while ago about why I don't love loose powder. This doesn't seem to like fly everywhere, but ooh, now it does. It can set off my allergies and I'm already a little sniffly. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something. And yeah, so I just, loose powders and me, we are just not the best of friends. But I'm just gonna powder most of my face, I think. Normally I only do it in the T-zone, but I think I do want there to be a light dusting of powder all over just to get rid of the stickiness, because I think that's going to be the only thing that helps. Now my skin feels like my skin, so the powder was definitely necessary. No longer that sticky feeling. I still don't love the way this foundation feels on my face. It feels weirdly heavy. I haven't used a texture like this in such a long time, so it just, and it's starting to get a little itchy around my nose as well, so my sensitive skin is not liking something there. Usually when I get like any sort of itchiness, it starts here and then around here, and that's when I know it's like really too late. So I'm not sure. It could also be the fragrance in that mist I started off with, of course, because that's still lingering as well. Not a huge fan, but I am very excited for both of these blushes and this Hourglass dupe. The Radiant Light Face Palette, it has, this is 010. Glow Icon. It came in 2 shades. This is the lighter one. It says blush, blush lighter, highlighter, and a bronzer shade. So I'm thinking the way they've designed this is that this is the blush, this is the bronzer, this is the blush lighter, and this is the highlighter. I'm going to be using the bronzer and a highlighter from this. The blush in here is this like NARS Orgasm sort of peachy pink with a gold flash. Not my favorite thing, but I do have these 2 blushes, of course. They've revamped the soft baked blushes. I think that's what they were called in the past. They were a lot bigger, but they now come in 6 shades, and this is in Berry Bliss, which is this really nice, vibrant, like pinky tone with a bit of a cool, like bluish flash. Both of these were the cooler stoned options in the line, and they are very much intended for people with a deeper skin tone. But I find that if I use a very light hand, I'm just going to be using my very wispy blush brush today, I can make these kind of shades work for me as well. So we have Blush Crush in, what's this called again? Cherry Kiss. This is the other one. And this one has the little clouds. And this reminds me so much of like Asian beauty brands that also do these kind of designs and stuff. This one is matte. This one has shine. But from swatching them, I could tell that these are pretty similar in terms of color. So depending on what it looks like, I may just put a bit of the shiny one over the matte one once we're done, just to round it out. But we're going to put some bronzer, blush, and highlighter onto the face. So luckily this bronzer shows up a lot better, and it's making me look a lot less pasty than before. It does seem to like stick a little bit. Do you see? Maybe I haven't powdered as much as I thought I did. It's also quite warm. It's reading very orange yellow on me. I'm not sure if you can see that in the viewfinder, but this is like your classic drugstore bronzer, I find. It's pretty. If you like a very sun-kissed look, this can work. But if you have a very cool undertone, then this is probably going to be too warm. I think the entire palette is from a lot of people who watch my videos, but I like this. I mean, especially for like travel in the summertime, or if you have some sort of festival and you don't want to like take too many things and you don't want it to be too expensive. And I think products like this can be nice, especially when I travel. I like using a face palette like this. So I can definitely see merit in a product like this. Highlighter is very golden toned, but again, really pretty on. I definitely think that this looks really nice. It's just a bit of a clash with how light that foundation and concealer combo were. And that means we can move on to the blushes. I'll do the soft baked on this side, and then this one is going to be the matte one, the blush crush. So for both of them, I'm going to use this really old brush that I got from Quo. This was sent to me by someone who I did a makeup swap with, who lived in Canada. But I always use this if I have a blush that I think is going to deposit a lot of color. I use this brush because it picks up so little product. So having brushes like that can be helpful. So I'm just doing this, and there's barely anything on the brush from what I can tell. Putting a little bit on the nose. And it does go really nicely with this bronzer. It definitely shows up really well. And I like to apply blush, well, like almost like a C around my eye. I have really big cheeks compared to the rest of my face, so I do want to blend it into my bronzer and my highlighter. I just like that look. Especially if I'm wearing this much bronzer, I just want there to be enough blush to balance it out. And you can see that with a very wispy brush, it's a blush. It's a very blushy look, but I kind of like that from time to time, especially in the summertime. But people are saying 2016 makeup is back. This is the kind of stuff I wore in 2016 for sure. Not these shades though. Ooh, the matte shows up a lot more on this brush. And that's instant pigmentation. So depending on what you find important, do you want boom kapow pigment? Do you want there to be a little bit of a pearl to diffuse it a little bit more? Those are your choices here. And with this matte blush, I just feel I can like keep blending it, and that's what it then looks like. There's a hair stuck to the brush now. Maybe just a little bit more here, just to even it, because I felt I had blush up here, but not there. Yeah. The shades are pretty much identical. This is a little bit more blush than I would normally go for. If I feel I've done too much with the blush, I just take my foundation brush and whatever left on it, I just sort of use it to tone it down a little bit and just take away some of it and blend it a little bit more. It works every time. So next up is the eyes, and we're going to go for a very minimal eye look because Essence didn't really have any new palettes or anything that I could see. But they did have singles, and I just bought a couple of very basic things, but that I think I can take, like, I can really get a lot of use out of. So they came out with the Mono eyeshadows. These are mattes and shimmers formulas. This is the shade Soft Beige, and you may be wondering, but Micah, that's the most boring shade ever. But I always use a shade like this as a single to set my paint pot with. I'm currently using this one from MAC, and the only reason why I bought this MAC shade, which you can see I've hit massive pan on, I'm gonna use it up in the next couple of months, is because I couldn't find a good enough alternative at the drugstore. So now that I have one, I know that this is going to be so easy for me once my MAC single shadow is done, and I already have a backup for that, and I can just use this one up, be like once that one runs out. But then they also did this really nice neutral brown shade. That's literally what it's called. This is like my ideal crease color. And I very often don't love a palette if it doesn't have a perfect for me crease shade. And I thought this looked like one, so I was like, this could then just live in my everyday makeup drawer and just have it on hand for whenever I feel stumped on what look to do. I can just have this in the crease and it will be wonderful. And then they also did some glittery shades. This is Blushed Stardust. And this you will have already seen popping up in another video this week, because this is, once I swatched it, I was like, right, that's like the drugstore version of Urban Decay Space Cowboy. and like a European alternative to ColourPop's Ritz. I swatched them side by side in that video that I did the other day, and I was like, yep. So I can't wait to put this all over. I'm just going to fluff this darker shade from my lash line all the way into my crease, put this one on top, and then we have some new mascaras to talk about. We have a black waterproof Lash Princess. So this is the False Lash Effect in a extreme waterproof edition. We'll be testing that out. It rains enough in the Netherlands that I can test it out even if I don't go swimming. But today I want to use this. This is the Lash Without Limits Tubing Brown Extreme Lengthening Mascara. I've tried some tubing mascaras in 2025, and so far I haven't found a single one that I like because they irritate my eyes. As the mascara starts to dry down, the little tubes that form around your lashes start to irritate my eyes. They sometimes, like if you like rub your eyes, or like if things get itchy, and I have allergies, so my eyes are itchy all the time, they tend to come off and then they end up in my eyes, and it's not a good feeling. And also with taking it off, if you have contact lenses, I'm not sure if I would recommend looking into products like this. Maybe I just haven't found the right tubing mascara yet. I've only tried the Essence and Catrice ones and a couple from some K-beauty brands, but I haven't like really found anything I love yet. So I do want to try this. I think it's going to go really well with this eye look today, so that's what I'm going to put on. So let me start with just a very fluffy brush. This is the BK Beauty 202. I don't know. The name is rubbing off. I reach for this all the time if I just want to do something really basic. If I want to... Oh yeah, this is a very nice sort of like creasy shade for me. It's all quite warm toned, right? I feel like everything is pretty warm we've got going on. This pulls a little bit more yellow than I had hoped. In the pan, it looks like such a good neutral brown, and then on my lids, it actually has so much yellow. Interesting. So this is probably not the perfect crease shade I was hoping it would be. Oh well. And then we're just going to use fingers to apply the glittery shade. Ooh, that's a lot of glitter. I love that look. Oh, that looks so pretty. Like when I compared it to Space Cowboy and Ritz, this has the least amount of a base compared to those other two shades. So this is the most translucent. If you want to see those side-by-side swatches, it's my recent top 10 topper video. And you can find that one that went live, I think, on either yesterday or Thursday's video. But I'll link it in the description box down below, just in case you can't find it. Now we're going in with mascara. So this is the brown Lash Without Limits two-wing mascara. I'm very curious to see how this will go. And after I film this video, I plan on putting this in my Shop My Stash, because I did select a brown mascara for my Shop My Stash for this month. But it's a Kiko mascara, and I've used it a couple of times now, and I don't like it. I like Kiko mascara. Their formulas are really good, but their brushes are so weird. So I'm like, they're just always a little too big, and they don't fit my eyes very well. So I can't really do my mascara. So I'm going to have this as like a second option to reach for, and then I'll see which one I reach for the most. So that's mascara done, and that leaves us lips, which I only have two options. So when I do my lip video also with the new Catrice stuff, I'm just going to roll these two Essence things in. And I think today I just want to wear one of these lip balms. They have come out with the Juicy Balm plumping lip glosses. These aren't plumping in the sense of it like being tingly. They're just really, really shiny. I got two shades, sweet strawberry and sour cherry. So I'm going to wear the strawberry shade today. And then I have the Blur Souffle matte lip creams in 3 shades. So a nude, a red, and like a pinky tone. The pinky tone seems to be pretty peachy. So I'm not sure whether I like that, but I think there's at least 2 here that might work for me. But Catrice or Essence has done a like blurry lip souffle kind of thing in like their past 3 releases, I feel. So this isn't anything new for them. They just tend to like update their line all the time and just change the packaging ever so slightly. I truly believe that Essence and Catrice can be so cheap because they don't invest in keeping products in their makeup line for a long time. not sure whether how I feel about that from a sustainability perspective, but they seem to only like have the same manufacturer, like the same products in for the 6-month period, and then they start to disappear, and then they bring in the new stuff. And I just really think that it's because it makes it just cheaper for them to maintain their line. Like, they don't have to promise customers products that are the same for like 5 years because they change it up every 6 months. So here is the Juicy Balm Plumping Lip Gloss in Sweet Strawberry. It has a fruity scent. And this is very K-Beauty coated. I do think this lip goes with the look quite well. I like that. Oh, it does tingle. Non-sticky lip gloss with optical plumping and cooling effect. Oh, there's probably menthol in here. I can feel something tingling. There's probably some sort of peppermint or menthol extract in here to help, like, with the cooling sensation. I don't normally like that because, again, I'm sensitive skin all over, so my lips can actually become more sensitive if I overuse these kind of products. But it's pretty, I can tell you that much. So those are all of the Essence products that I have in this video for you today. There were some successful things, there were some less successful things. For me, the foundation and the concealer are just really not up my street, but they can work for other people as well. For me, the downside is just that it just feels too heavy and it's just not the kind of formula that I like. Plus the shade is just a little bit too light for me, especially under this lighting. It washes everything out. But I love the cheek look. Like, Essence can do a good blush. We all know that. And they've nailed it yet again. These lip products, I think I might like as well. I just need to give them a bit more of a whirl. But especially if you get just one thing, make it this glitter eyeshadow. Let me see. What was it called again? The glittery eyeshadow is the Mono Eyeshadow Glitter in Blushed Stardust. It's shade number 3. It's so pretty. This is so beautiful. I love that eyeshadow so much. So yeah, some really lovely things again from Essence, and some, no, not for me kind of products. But nothing is truly terrible, I'd say. Like, Essence is a very solid brand. They do some lovely things. It's sometimes a little bit gimmicky and not always quite right for me, but take from this video what you wish, and then I hope to see you again really, really soon in a new video. You can follow me on here for 4 makeup videos a week. I also have a second channel with more lifestyle-y things, books, fashion, vloggy, travel things from time to time. Sort of like all the things that don't go onto this channel goes on there. And I post there once a week. And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. All links can be found in the description box down below. And then I really hope you have a great rest of your day. I'm wishing you all the best, and check back for more, because once I've given all of these Essence products a little bit more of a whirl, I will come back with a roundup review with all of my final thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!